If you want to protect your family from much higher grocery bills, you need to understand what is happening in the Iran war right now. I'm not going to talk to you like a news anchor. I'm not going to throw a bunch of big words at you. I'm going to explain this the same way I would explain it to my neighbor standing out in the driveway. Because most channels make this stuff so confusing that regular people tune it out. And the people who tune it out are the ones that are going to get hurt the most financially. So, with no further ado, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to explain what is happening and why you should care. I'm also going to give you a solution at the end, so be sure to stay tuned. So, here's a simple version. Back in February of 2026, the United States and Israel launched military strikes on Iran. Iran fought back. And when Iran fought back, they did something that affected every single person watching this video right now. They blocked a waterway called the Straits of Hormuz. Now, I know that sounds like a geography lesson, but stay with me for 30 seconds because this is where your grocery bill comes into play. The Straits of Hormuz is basically a narrow strip of water in the Middle East. Think of it like a doorway. And through that one doorway, about 20% of all the oil in the entire world passes through every single day. 20%. 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil that the world uses goes through that one doorway. Iran closed it shut. The International Energy Agency called it the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. This is not me being dramatic. That is the official energy agency of the world saying this out loud. There's been a lot of saying the quiet part out loud, just so you know. So you probably want to know, why are gas prices going up? Now, when that doorway closed, the price of oil shot up fast. Oil prices surged more than 55% since the war began, and nearly $120 a barrel at its peak. To put that in regular language, before the war, a barrel of oil cost around $72. At the worst point, it hit $120. That is almost double. And when oil gets more expensive, gas gets more expensive, and it's as simple as that. Gasoline prices went over $4 a gallon, the highest level since 2022. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, I'll just drive a little less and I'll deal with it. But here's the part most people miss. It's not just about your car. Everything you buy at the store was put on a truck to get there. That truck runs on diesel fuel. As one economist puts it, anything that's put on a truck is going to cost more. That goes from groceries to Amazon packages. So even if you never left your house, you would still feel this in your wallet. Now, one key factor, I want to explain something to you real quick that you will not hear on the news because they think it's too complicated for you. There are two kinds of oil. There's light oil and heavy oil. Light oil is like water. It is thin, easy to turn into gasoline, and the US actually produces a lot of this kind right here at home. Heavy oil is thicker, like syrup. It's harder to process, but it's what most American oil refineries were actually built to handle. A big chunk of that heavy oil used to come from the Middle East. Here is why that matters. Even though the U.S. produces a lot of its own oil, our refineries were built decades ago specifically to process the heavy oil from the Middle East. So when that supply gets cut off, our own refineries cannot just switch overnight. They're not set up for it. That is why even though America pumps its own oil, we still feel the pain when the Middle East supply gets disrupted. So, okay, this is the part I need you to pay attention to. Most people know about gas prices, but what is coming next is going to hit your grocery cart harder than the gas pump. Here is something most of you do not know. Fertilizer is made from natural gas, the same natural gas that also passes through the block waterway in the Middle East. So when the Straits of Hormuz closed, natural gas supplies got squeezed. That made fertilizer more expensive fast. The price for more imported urea, which is a form of nitrogen that powers much of the world's farming, has risen by close to a third since the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. Now, here's why this matters to your family. Farmers use fertilizer to grow corn, wheat, and soybean. Those crops feed people, but they also feed cows, pigs, and chickens. When fertilizer gets expensive, farmers use less of it. When they use less, they grow food less. When they grow less food, there's less feed for animals. The increased cost of oil-derived nitrogen fertilizer could prompt farmers to apply less on their fields this season. Lower crop yields in the excuse me, lower crop yields in the fall would mean less feed for livestock and could drive up the cost of beef. And here's where that part stings. If farmers are not ready to plant this spring, yields will go down and prices will go up. And typically, once food prices go up, they do not go back down. So the beef, chicken, and pork you buy right now may be the cheapest it's going to be for a while. Now, I want to touch on something quickly that makes all of this worse. This is not just an Iran problem. The war in Ukraine that started back in 2022 is still going on. Ukraine and Russia together used to supply a huge portion of the world's wheat and fertilizer. That supply chain got disrupted by war also. So now you have two wars happening at the same time, both cutting into the world's food and fuel supply, both pushing prices in the same direction. A food economist at the Michigan State University put it plainly. Very rarely do food prices fall, and when they do, it is very short-lived, which is why some of these disruptions are very concerning. They raise the price level for food, and that is why food prices today are in some cases more than 30% higher than they were right before COVID. So let me know in the comments if you are already feeling this at the grocery store. I want to hear from you because I'm going to make these videos because the Indians are circling the wagon. Now, I don't like to just give problems. I like to give solutions. I told you I was going to keep this practical. So here is 5 things regular families can actually do to protect themselves. Number 1, stock up on staples right now. Canned goods, rice, beans, pasta, frozen meat. Buy what you normally eat, but buy a little extra right now while prices are still at today's level. This is not panic buying. This is smart buying. You don't want to be the person being the fool rushing in. You want to be casually walking out. I say that in investing all the time. Number 2, lock in your protein. Beef is likely to get more expensive by fall. If you have a freezer, use it. Buy in bulk now. A chest freezer is one of the best investments you can make in a situation like this. Number 3, cut your fuel costs where you can. And I know this absolutely frustrates people because we're a consumer society and we find comfort in being able to consume. But you're going to have to scale back a little bit. I want you to start combining your errands into one trip. Use the grocery store apps to find the cheapest gas near you. I think you should make the investments into memberships in these wholesale clubs so you can get gas. And if you have 2 cars, drive the one that gets better mileage for your daily trips. Sorry, if you want to drive a big boy toy and burn gas, you got to pay the price. If you got the money, spend it. But you're going to have to save it also. Number 4, watch for shrinkflation. What is this? This is when companies keep the price the same but give you less product. The box looks the same, the price looks the same, but there are fewer ounces inside. Pay attention to the price per ounce and not just the sticker price. And last but not least, build a small cash buffer if you can. One of the best investments you can make is making extra money. Now, when prices are rising and unpredictable, having even 1 to 2 months of basic expenses in cash gives you breathing room to make smart decisions instead of desperate ones. This one is one of the most important things. Now, I talk a lot about crypto and investing and things like this. I want you guys to understand this one thing and one thing most importantly. The greatest investment that you can do is an emergency savings account. Because, and I know everybody on the internet is going to tell you, no, you got to make more money. That's easier said than done, but you're also going to have to make more money to get an emergency fund. So you will be killing 2 birds at the same time. And then you'd want to be able to invest what you can afford to lose, right? If you lose money and you can't pay rent, guess what? You can't afford to lose it. If you invest money and you can't allow it to perform and mature, whenever the market pulls back and you have to sell it because you need money, You couldn't afford to lose it. I always preach, especially in my 3C method, that clarity, confidence, and conviction is the thing that it's going to take to make money and invest in any way, and it still is applicable to today. The reason why I'm making this video, because everybody wants to shill you crypto coins and update you with the crypto news. But investing is financial literacy, and you will have to be financially literate to see the storm or potential black swan event that is coming. I want you guys to be able to think with clarity and confidence and be convicted in it. So, enough of that rant. I was ranting there. Here is the bottom line. The Iran war is not just a headline. It is a direct line from the waterway you have never you never heard of the Straits of Hormuz to your gas tank and your grocery cart. The people who understand this are the ones who can prepare. The people who tune it out are the ones who are going to get caught off guard. So now I hope you understand it. If this video helped make sense of what's happening, drop a comment below and tell me. And share this with someone in your family or a friend who needs to hear this. And if you are new here, please subscribe. I'm going to be making videos every week. Turn on the notifications. I put out content that helps regular people understand what is happening in the world and what to do about it and how to make money investing and building in business. There's no confusion, no noise, just clarity. And I will see you on the next one, guys.